as somebody who loves beautiful things and takes great glee in expressing themselves, especially on their face and body, if that's not obvious enough, I struggle with overconsumption when it comes to makeup. It's one of those fields that's actually like you have to kind of try it before you know how good it is. And with the depletion, I just like to say, of good neutral makeup reviews on YouTube, the stuff that I grew up on, well, at least when I was like in my early 20s, I discovered makeup YouTube, and there was just like such a wealth of good, honest trial and error reviews of what was out there. And I believe at the moment we are suffering from a dearth of that. I thought I would share, as somebody who does care about the planet, but also isn't willing to give up makeup altogether, I thought I would share what is in my dumpy little makeup bag. Now, 20-year-old me would have gawped at this being like most of my makeup, but everything in here has been meticulously chosen and tested out and tried and picked not only for its vegan and cruelty-free and like either refillable or sustainable aspects in some way, but it's also just bloody good, and I don't feel the need to own loads of makeup. I do have a few other bits, like not to say that this isn't my only makeup I own, but I probably own just like another equivalent bag of this at home of more like novelty makeup and some colourful makeup and just some backups of the stuff that I already own. But in general, I am really, for me, this is under consumption core when it comes to makeup as a makeup lover, and everything in here I will defend with my honour to say like is genuinely good and companies that I want to get behind. So I thought I'd take today as an opportunity to show you what's in here, show you how it looks on my face, in case that might save you a little bit of time when you are trying to makeup shop. Now, another thing I will say about makeup is that I think that we have been tricked into spending as much as we might on like other toiletries. And honestly, I think my whole levels of waste have gone down and satisfaction has gone up, and also time spent on makeup has gone down when I have started spending a little bit more money on makeup in considered places with companies I genuinely trust. So some of the makeup I'm going to show you today is a little bit more of an investment, and I have been like slowly building up this kit we call it a kit, over some years, because I genuinely believe that it's weird that we've been trained to be happy to spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even 70 pounds on like a top or a pair of jeans or a jacket or something, or a pair of shoes. But actually, realistically, the amount of production you get in a piece of makeup, this is a rant for another day, the amount of product you get in a piece of makeup is absolutely insane compared to the expiration date. You get so much in it. And often for me, I wear a item of makeup way more than I would wear like a top or a jumper. I'm literally rinsing it dry. So for me, it has been totally worth it to invest not only in these companies, but in these packages that I can refill infinitely. And I think that part of the reason we are over consuming on makeup is that the market has simply been flooded with really low quality products and very few genuine reviews. So we're doing a lot of trial and error, and I used to end up spending way more money trying all the different things and then having to discard them, rather than really carefully collecting a small amount of things that I'm really happy with. So without further ado, let me show you what's in my little underconsumption makeup bag and how it looks on my face. Needless to say, none of this is sponsored. 2 products have been gifted to me, but by a company I have been a customer of for years. Everything else I have bought with my own shabby little money, and not even the budget of the channel, because let's not get into it, but tax-wise, you can't buy things for your channel and then wear it in your spare time, like in the same way. So basically, as a full-time YouTuber, I can't even business expense this. I have felt the pain and the pleasure of digging into my own pockets for this makeup, and I genuinely think it's worth it. Now, first off, I am already wearing a base, and that's because I have not yet found a base that fits my criteria. So it isn't technically part of this video, but just if you're wondering, I'm wearing a really light base of skin tint, but I don't tend to go hard on like face makeup, especially like as you age. I think a lot of that can kind of stick around and like highlight those areas. I think it's much nicer to treat the parts of your face that you really like and draw people's attention there, rather than trying to conceal the stuff you don't. So for that reason, I'm going to start with eyebrows, and this is my very faithful eyebrow pencil. I think this is the second one I've gone through, and from a company I've been using I must have been wearing Zayo for like 8 or 9 years now. They are a small, independent, refillable, incredibly sustainable makeup company. And while I really like the fact that all of their products are like sustainability first, and there is another product from Zayo that is going to feature in this video, I would say that the quality varies depending. I've tried nearly almost all of their products over the years. I have been trying to explore more sensible, sustainable makeup, and the eyebrow pencil is one of the things I would recommend, but I'm just going to tell you now, it's not a consistent line of quality. Should I have sharpened this pencil before using it? Absolutely. Do I care enough to go and find my sharpener? If you don't know the answer to that already, then you don't know me at all. There are the eyebrows. They're done. We're not a big eyebrow person over here. In case it wasn't clear already, I'm not a professional makeup artist, so I hope you will find this useful if you're also not a professional makeup artist and don't aspire to look like one, just a normal person who wants their makeup to look vaguely okay. Now, this is my current makeup palette. Those of you who have been around for a long time will know for a while I just had like single pan eyeshadows left over from loads of old makeup palettes I used to have at uni, and I just like used magnets and put them in a tin, and that was great for a while, and I used those. I used a lot of them up and a lot of them expired, and that is one way to skin a cat. But when Lisa Eldridge, who is an independent makeup business owner but also like a long-term makeup artist, brought out her own refillable eyeshadows, I decided to give them a go, and I've been very, very happy with them. And I also think it's a lot less chaotic to have a refillable makeup palette that is designed for refilling rather than like slipping all over the pan. So this is the way it has panned out for me when it comes to refillable eyeshadow, and I really like it. So Lisa Eldridge sells these palettes. It was really unclear when I was looking at the reviews whether they would be actual gold. I didn't think they'd be actual gold, I'm not insane. I didn't know if they would be metal, but it is plastic, but it's very durable plastic, and this has been thrown around a lot and hasn't really had any scratches on it. I've had this for at least a year now and traveled with it and stuff. So while I was a bit like, oh, I thought it would be metal when it came, I've lived with it for a long time and I'm very happy with it. Now, one of the annoying things is she doesn't sell the palettes on their own. You have to buy a pre-made palette, and then you can pop out the eyeshadows and put other ones in, or like refill them if you get rid of them. So I'd say that is something that is kind of annoying, and I wish that if like sustainability was forefront of the mind when you were designing something like this, I think selling an empty palette would be really sensible. And also I find that with stock, a lot of the shadows aren't all in at the same time, so you can't do a bulk order, you have to kind of wait. But then I like small batch as well, so I don't really know how I feel about that, but the availability could be better. Let me show you how they work. So it looks like a normal makeup palette and everything's kind of jammed in there together. It's really nice. However, on the back, you'll see there's these 6 little holes that are the perfect size for a hair grip. And if you poke a hair grip through one of the holes, you'll see it lifts up the magnetic eyeshadow and you can pop it straight out. This palette was originally the Desert Gleam palette, which leaned quite warm, even though I liked a lot of the colors in it. So I've actually replaced 2 of the colors in this palette with some of her single shadows. And if you're new to makeup, this will look like an incredibly small amount of eyeshadow, but if you've been around the block a few times, you'll know that that could literally last you like 5 years. You really don't need much eyeshadow to get like 300, 400 uses out of an eyeshadow. So for any Lisa Eldridge nerds, I'll leave the names of which ones I switched out in this palette for. But today we're going to go for French Grey, which is up here. And I'm just going to do a kind of loose dusting of this. I really like this. It's kind of like a really muted purple. And as somebody who wears a lot of purple and kind of low-key hates just a neutral eye, but understands the function of it, this is by far one of my favorite shades. I think also because I have quite like inset eyes, and I'm not saying that's disparagingly, but I do have a little bit of a case of the goldfish eye, which we love and can look really dramatic and fun, but I am like quite conscious of using too dark an eyeshadow on my eyes because it can make them look really like set into my skull. So this kind of like purplish grey is a good compromise when it comes to that. And then in the inner corners, I'm gonna pop a tiny bit of this Christina, which in some lights is gold and in some lights is silver. And I don't know how she does it. And I don't know if I even want to know the answer. Is it witchcraft? We can't tell. But I am a millennial and I insist on putting my glittery inner corners in and nobody can stop me. So that's what we're doing today. Now, eyeliner, I'm very passionate about this. This is one of the things that Zayo does so bloody well. I have had this same eyeliner case for 5 years and just been refilling the eyeliner inside of it. The refill looks just like this, and while it's not perfect, they haven't you can't just go into they don't have a Zayo store where you can go in and they can just pour you in some more. I think this is measurably way less plastic and waste than it would be me buying a normal eyeliner, and the staying power on this is insane. They also do 2 different options of brushes. I have the more stable, stiff one that is good if you're used to a pencil or more of a fine tip felt eyeliner, but they also do a more flexible brush one. So if you're used to that, they have 2 options as well, which I think is really good. I think also me being really desperate to do a video like this recently is because I've really been missing old YouTube and more lo-fi content. I've also been thinking a lot about this rise in plastic surgery and filler and stuff, and the moral panic that happened in my 20s, or more my teenage years, I guess, when I feel like the adults were all talking about how the girls were wearing too much makeup. And now I feel like the beauty standards have shifted so much the other way that I actually kind of wish that we would just lean back into makeup a little bit if we were wanting to tweak or enhance our faces in some way, rather than literally getting under the skin and injecting ourselves with things or spending loads of money on skincare. We know how I feel about skincare. I feel very, very suspicious and worried about the claims that skincare has and how much it might be ruining our skin barriers. So I almost feel wistful for a time where we are worried that people were wearing too much makeup, because at least it sits on the top of your skin and you can just wash it off at the end of the day if you don't like it. So I think that's also, for me, been a resurgence in trying to find nice, sustainable makeup brands, because I feel like inherently the Botox industry is unsustainable. We can't sustain that kind of beauty expectation in this economy. I don't think so. Anyway, as per, I've been chatting too much and now I've gone way too wild with the wings, but you can also pry the winged eyeliner from my rotting millennial hands. I will always be doing that. I'm so sorry. Now, coming to blush, this is where I have an embarrassment of riches. I think if you're going to start getting refillable or sustainable makeup, I think blush is probably the easiest place to start. I have 4 options in front of me, so I'm going to show you them, but you need to know that there's no right answer, and I love them all equally. If you're looking for a liquid blush, these are beautiful, last forever pebble design refillable blush cases where you can put really any kind of product in them, but they sell blushes and lip oils to put in them. As you can see, mine is very well loved. These are made in New Zealand and they are a little bit of a bitch to import, but there's really nothing else like it out there. Nowhere near me makes anything this beautiful, and I knew that I was going to keep it forever and buy it once, so I decided to get it over. These, again, just have a little lip that you can get up with your fingernail. Oh, and they come out like that, and then you just pop them in. They've got a magnet. I have no memory of what this colour is, but I'll leave it in the description below, but it's quite pinky, but almost once it's on kind of fades into a peach for me. Again, something annoying about makeup is that what it looks like in the pan never really looks like what it does on your face, because your face isn't like a blank canvas. But it also means that even if you're wearing exactly the same blush as everybody else, it's very rare that it would actually look the same on you. And also there's always the fear of oh my God, I've really overdone it when you put blush on first, because you're like, whoa, and then you realize that half of the color in your cheeks is just because you've been rubbing your cheeks, so obviously all the blood is going to go there. I always love that song and dance and that little bit of panic when you look in the viewfinder and you're like, shit. But yeah, while that dies down, these are really hardy and solid, and I found them to be really durable. Again, they've been thrown around in my handbag for a couple of years now, and really like them. They also make them in this pewter color like this, and this one was a lip oil that I actually used up, but because you can just clean out the pan and squish any other makeup you want into it, I squished in a Lush highlighter. But I feel like, right, here's my thing about Lush. I love them. I really have been a vocal advocate of them. I've worked with them before on Instagram Reels and stuff, and I do love them, but I feel like they really haven't quite nailed makeup packaging yet. The packaging has failed me a lot, and this is one of the cases where I pushed the blush up a little bit too far and it wouldn't go back down, and it was a really really sad state of affairs. So it's okay because I had a lot of these cases on hand and you can just save the product and smush them in. So I have Why don't I put a bit of this on? We're going to put all the blushes on today. I have a tiny bit of this blush from Lush, which is also kind of a highlighter, and it's really, really beautiful. It's from their retro range, and that's another example of if you wanted to buy a case like this from Fluff and you're happy to import something once but you didn't want to keep importing the refills, you can just then use them forever by smushing other products into them. So they're really worth it for me in that way. I won't go on too much about Besame because I already did a video talking about this blush. I don't think they're the most sustainable company in general, but they happen to do a really good refillable blush. And also to be aware, they don't often sell this metal version on the website. They also have a plastic version, which I don't really understand. So I'm showing you this because I specifically love this product. And if you're really against cream blushes and you want a powder blush, this is the only one I found that's genuinely very good and sustainable and cruelty-free, etc. But in general, I'm not sure if the company means they just want to follow like a vintage aesthetic. They don't mean to be as sustainable as they are. It's not like they're not really showing that in the rest of their business decisions. But I also don't think they're the enemy in any way, and I'm happy to pay money for the parts of their line that are sustainable. And again, this one pops out just like the Fluff ones, and it also comes with a mirror and a little puff if you'd like that. Salt New York. I've been buying Salt New York for years. I've used up many a pan of their blushes, and they recently came out with a line with Hannah Louise Poston, who is one of my favorite YouTubers, of these kind of desaturated neutral browns that I love to use as either blushes or a little bit of a contour. I kind of place them a little bit further back on my face and it gives a bit of dimension. And it's a great way to like add a little bit of tan if you're somebody who's quite pale or leans quite neutral / cool toned and doesn't want to put bronzer all over their face because it just looks strange. Hannah Louise Poston's line of these is great for like adding some warmth to your face while also making it look like the colour could have come from your body and it's not like this alien force that's being impressed in on it. I can't explain the logic of that. I'm recording in a heat wave, so I hope that makes sense. And equally, I love the highlighters. I've bought their highlighters twice before and used them up because I love them so much, but this one in particular was gifted to me because it's part of the Hannah Louise Poston collection, and I love it the most because it's kind of got this ethereal pink silver shift to it that makes you do a double take. I think it's like a tiny bit unexpected, so that is like my favorite highlighter of all time now. I think. Why would I use anything else? So again, these are just refillable squares you can get on their website. They also do face concealers and stuff and some other products all in the same size and the same format so that all of their cases are useful. They do these single travel size bamboo shaped ones, and they also do bigger magnetic palettes as well. Both are really hardy and I can vouch for lasting a really, really long time. I've really put those through their paces as well. Okay, when it comes to lips, we have two options that I like. And I've done a video before reviewing refillable red lipstick. One is the Pièce de Resistance, these amazing refillable lipsticks from Lisa Eldridge. The case is basically like the price of a lipstick, and then you can just get infinite amounts of refillables. These are what they look like. You pop it in here, and these cases are made out of metal. I think because of the weight and the quality of these, I was expecting them to match the eyeshadow palettes, and they do visually, but just in feel, these are really light. And this is much heavier. I would prefer the heavy, but maybe you like the light. I currently have the color Lily in here, which is a kind of slightly more muted red, although we know that I will wear red lipstick at every occasion and several times a week, if not every day. And honestly, I don't see myself buying other lipsticks like ever again, apart from I'm on my second Lila lip crayon, because these you just like sharpen them down and then they're gone. There's literally, apart from the lid, there's like no waste. This company is vegan and cruelty free, but I don't like their parent company, and the rest of their makeup doesn't seem to be sustainable or like thoughtfully packaged in any way. But I do love the lip pencils, and it's confusing to me why more companies don't do lip pencils when obviously it's possible, and these are really good quality. So I'm on my second one, and I went for a slightly brighter color. In fact, my friend Sana gave this to me for my birthday. I went for a slightly brighter color of red this time in Piazza, I think it's called. But today, I think I'm going to go for the Lisa Eldridge, but just so you know, these are my two approved ones. And also, if you wanted another blush option, these work really well as blushes, just the refills on their own. Let me just show you. You can literally just pop them on like that. And they make loads of lipsticks that kind of look like blusher. My cheeks are really... I'm doing the most today. It's gonna start looking like I lost a fight with a tomato farm or something. But yeah, that's another option if you want sustainable refillable makeup, especially because this is the only refillable lipstick that is completely recyclable. Like these are 100% aluminium. Usually when you get refillable makeup, there's plastic in there and you can't recycle these, but these are 100% like curbside recyclable, which is just absolutely a phenomenal feat. I can't believe she's done this. And then finally, the only setting powder I own. This is a big version of the Fluff Makeup Pebbles, you want to call them. And this is one that I spent literally about 18 months thinking about buying before I did, because I love the mini ones so much. This is a new addition to my makeup stash. They do loads of colours, but I went for the translucent setting powder colour. Again, this just pops out and you can use this forever. Really, this is really heavy. I'm just going to warn you. I'll try and find out the weight and put it below, but this is really heavy and I love that because it feels like I'm genuinely carrying around a pebble. But you can also get the kabuki brush with it, and this is like really weirdly incredibly light. So make of that what you will. But this is what I'll be setting my face with. I don't tend to set my whole face because I want to keep a lot of the shine, but it's nice to do a little bit. And this kabuki brush as well is really fun because you can pull it up a little bit and then you can get a much more condensed brush for going around your nose and those kinds of areas, and then a more like floppy brush for when you want to just do a general cross your fingers and hope for the best dusting. Also great for sweaty people like me. I kind of carry this around in my bag sometimes on particularly shiny, sweaty days. You'll notice that I haven't done mascara, and that's because I don't have a non-problematic fave mascara. However, I have been using the e.l.f. Lash and Roll, which is dirt cheap compared to most mascaras and cruelty-free and vegan. It's a dupe for the Benefit one, and it is really, really good. However, I can't honestly include it in my underconsumption core lists of recommended because it's just not, and you know that I've had struggles with mascara in the past. I've tried cake mascara, I've tried the refillable mascaras that are on the market right now, and they're just not very good. So honestly, if you are in the mood to start up a business and come up with a new USP for a product proposition in the eco space, I would say just creating some kind of mascara that acknowledges that the planet is on fire, that's vaguely good, and you will be golden. I hope you have enjoyed this little look into my sustainable makeup kit today. It's a simple one, I'll give you that, although potentially I have too many blushes, but it's because I don't generate any embarrassment myself out of my own body. I have to put it on. That's the hit of a stable childhood and then an overexposure to public opinion for you. You have to insert the shame. It no longer radiates from the body. As I said, all of these opinions are 100% my own. I am incredibly picky and a stickler for sticking to my own opinions when it comes to this kind of thing. But I will leave links below if you are curious and you'd like to look a little bit more into these brands, because I genuinely think they are worth the hype and they probably will save not only you money and time, but also packaging and waste in the long term if you want to invest in them. Please let me know if you have any recommendations for sustainable or refillable or vaguely ethical makeup that actually works, especially in the face tint or mascara buckets. They're two on my list that I haven't yet cracked. Thank you so much to the Gumption Club for making this video possible. Of course, one of the reasons I'm able to be so impartial and not worry too much about upsetting brands or not featuring certain people or being really honest about the products and being like, Lisa Aldridge does this thing good, but she does this thing bad, is because of the existence of the Gumption Club. They tip me for these videos so I can keep making them for free and honestly documenting my journey towards something vaguely more sane. And I think we should start using the word sane instead of sustainable. So if you're interested in joining the Patreon, I know you will find some like-minded people in our Discord and in our community, so I'll leave the links to that below. Yes, this is a wicked makeup bag. Craig bought it for me a few Christmases ago. While I think that the wicked merch train was short-lived for some people, it's sustainable for me because I'm going to use this till I die. Oh, I didn't put the bloody lipstick on. Oh my God, this whole time you've just been letting me sit here without putting the bow. Embarrassing. Okay, this is the final look. What do you think? What would you add? What would you take away? Actually, don't tell me that because I'm quite happy with it. Thank you so much for watching. Frog Smug out.